this one, like, it's a lot, really. But when you talk about religious and ethnic unity in Nigeria, this is one discourse that is really very broad. And I'm really hoping sincerely that we're able to reach a point of departure, you know, on the show this afternoon. Now, Nigeria is actually a diverse country with, over 200 ethnic groups and more than 500 languages spoken. And the two main religions in Nigeria are Islam and Christianity. All right. And the percentage or the proportion of people who are Muslims and Nigeria and Christians in Nigeria is one that has been debated over time. We're not going to make a storm in a teacup over that. But the most important thing is the fact that the records are there. That Nigeria is a country that is, dominated by two major religions, that is Islam and Christianity. But at a time when we are faced with a resurgence of insecurity in our dear country, Nigeria, why is it that these issues are related? Why is it that these issues have some connection with our faith? Ideally, religion is supposed to promote peace. It's supposed to promote oneness and not to cause a divide. But just maybe there is a gap somewhere. We really won't be able to tell how we got here, but let's see the way forward out of this dilemma that we actually find ourselves as a nation. Now, there are so many pointers to the resurgence of insecurity in Nigeria, all right? Some are saying that, the level of corruption is also contributing to why there is this resurgence, in insecurity in Nigeria. Some are saying that, a group of people, they are marginalized, and in a bid for them to express their grievances, they just have to, hold, the state to ransom, and a whole lot of other issues that sometimes you begin to wonder, can these, excuses be justified at all? But I'd have Lawrence, or let me start with Sultan Kamal. Okay, you want me to start with Lawrence? Okay, let me start with you, Mr. Lawrence. I mean, I don't know the inspiration behind this topic, but I want to believe that you have been keeping tabs on the latest, happenings across the country.
Yes,
Right.
yes, and thank you very much, Ife. Once again, I always want to thank the Eagles FM 102.3 for this wonderful program. The truth is this: since the last time you and I spoke, which was just 7 days ago,
Right.
a lot has happened. Correct?
Right.
We've seen so many things happen online, and one can only wonder what really is going on. And I was thinking, who is truly paying attention? Who are these actors? What are the issues? What do they want? The truth is, if people are saying that there is banditry, of which there is banditry, if we leave this country for them, would they be happy? Do you get what I'm saying? It's almost impossible. The country is ours, all right? It belongs to all of us, and we all have a role to play in solving this big problem that we found ourselves in. I was also thinking to myself, maybe we need to move from talking about tolerance of religion to even acceptance and respect of religion. The truth is, no matter how you choose to link up with your creator, it's really not my business.
Right.
I can only see who you are, and then that would either draw me to you or it repels me from you. You cannot force me. But you see, religion in Nigeria is a very sensitive, very, very around the world, actually, it's a very touchy subject to discuss, and it's part of the reason why I don't even want us to reduce what is happening to just religion. It might be on the surface what the people are more like controlled to believe, but I want to believe that there's something other than that.
Okay.
Do you understand? It could be anything, but the fact that we have three main religions in Nigeria: the Christian, Islam, and then the traditional worshippers.
Oh yeah.
It's not, if you find a good person, you found a good person. I have plenty. My friend, one of my closest pals, is here in the studio. He's Sultan Kamal, and he's a Muslim, and I'm a Christian from birth. And myself and Sultan, we've never had any issues. As a matter of fact, we get to discuss our religion, and it shows me things that, So this is actually in your religion. And I share with him as well. And we appreciate ourselves, first of all, before even religion, as humans. I think this is where, like I said last week, the education is lacking. There are so many people that are so uneducated that, and it's how the brain works. It's a predictive machine. Because of you don't know something, the little information you have, your brain starts suggesting.
Right.
Do you understand? And this is what education is supposed to correct. And so if you ask me, I would say the results that we see, especially if there are actors within this territory that are acting in this manner, it is as a lack, overtime lack of proper education within the system.
Okay.
This is how I will put it. Not to say, because you cannot pour, or rather you cannot plant rice and then you are expecting beans to grow. Whatever that is coming out as the fruits is something that has been planted over time. And that's why I kept saying we need to stop. Okay, now we are here. What do we need to do to get to where we all want to be? Do you understand? And then that planting has to start now. If we have not already started 20 years ago, we have to start that planting. We don't have to be distracted by drama. And then this is the angle I think we should have the conversations from. Not to keep following the conversations we've been having since 1980. Something there was a religion. It's just some people behind curtains, I think, just fueling narratives. Do you get what I'm saying?
But do you think
and poisoning the minds of the gullible ones.
Yeah.
And then these ones, when they are triggered with, look at the other guy that they said was captured. I saw it on the news. The guy received only 100,000 to travel this way, to take weapons, travel back 100,000. The guy gets only 200,000 to exchange weapons. That is a poverty mindset, correct? And so it doesn't matter to him the damage of, or the impact of whatever that he's doing. He just wants to eat. And so the problems are very, very deep. And so to reduce it to religion is as if you're fueling something else. Is way more than that, I want to believe. And I think that we need to start thinking of the future more than we are dwelling on the past. It has happened. What are we doing as a people?
Okay, Sultan, I don't know, in the early 80s or 90s, was religion really an issue?
Depends on where we want to see it from, in all honesty, as my friend had mentioned, Lawrence.
Because there were issues, in the 80s and the 90s, but can we really say
was it more ethnic at the time?
So for me, my answer would be, right, problems are problems. You don't need to associate it or tie it to basically clans, divides, or our division, right? Once an individual do something, you can basically talk about it within that particular. If it's not something that maybe you have religious leaders coming out and propagating hate tangibly for everybody to see, and then asking people to go out and probably kill, as you could see. And when I talk about religious leaders, I'm talking about recognized religious leaders, right, doing all of that.
And religious groups as well.
Religious groups. That's the only time you could say, okay, this is religious. Or you have a traditional leader coming to say, go, my people, this is it, it's war, right, or it's this. Then you can tie it to religion or ethnicity. But I can't talk about this issue without talking about some of the tangible root causes, I feel, right, that exist.
Okay. Before you talk about the root
and
causes,
I want to outline it also to the time frame that you had mentioned. But
okay, please let's just quickly go pay some bills.
Okay.
When we come back, that perspective would actually be brought on board. And if you're listening out there, please know that this is an audience participatory program where you can call in to ask questions and also make contributions. When we return from the break, I would just hand down the studio numbers for you to call to ask questions and also make contributions. Do stay with us.
Please listen to these announcements. Push Africa is organizing a free CNA and caregiver training seminar. Date 6th of December 2025. Time 10 a.m. prompt. Venue ADBF Hall, African University of Science and Technology, Galadimawa, Abuja. Access is free. Come learn about the benefits and opportunities of the Push Africa healthcare training. Don't forget to invite someone. For more enquiries, please call 080 33 94 2015. Again, 080 33 94 2015. Be there.
Things they happen for our community, eh?
Now I can recoup back all the money I have spent on this annoying family.
Hey, yeah. That woman own don't finish.
My dear, let's go and greet them, okay?
Join Media Coalition and Awareness to hold trafficking, MICAS, on I Wish I Knew radio drama and program every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Join us to kick human trafficking out of our society. I Wish I Knew radio drama and program is brought to you by MICAS and funded by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Denmark.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
All right, we're back. Thank you so much for staying with us. If you are just joining us, this is the National Core Values live on Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja, your radio experience that you can count on anytime, any day, anywhere. And on the show this morning, we're looking at religious and ethnic unity in Nigeria. You can call us on 090-8766-8888 or 090-735-30044. Send a voice note or a message to the WhatsApp number, and the WhatsApp number is 090-9705 44 and 50. I mean, as a patriotic Nigerian citizen that you are, whether at home or in the diaspora, I'm very sure that you've been keeping tabs on the latest happenings across the country, as opposed to crying over, spilt milk, as opposed to escalating the issues on ground even further. What do you think must be done right now to uphold the tenets of unity, religious and ethnic unity or oneness in Nigeria? All right, call in and let's have your thoughts. And if you think your views are any different from what my guests in the studio have actually said, please do well to call in and also tell us. Maybe we could see things from your own, perspective. Once again, the studio numbers are open and we encourage you to call in to be part of the program. So before we went on that break, Sultan Kamal, you were saying something about addressing, the root causes of, the situation that we're faced with right here in Nigeria. And I also did ask earlier that in the 80s and the 90s, where there were issues of, militancy, armed robbery and the likes, there was also corruption, at the time as well. Because now Mr. Lawrence actually says something that we must not tie what is going on to religion. We must not tie it to a clan or something. There's probably a reason why this is happening. And according to him, it is actually the absence or the lack of education. And I'm just wondering at this point in time, is it really the lack of education? Because when you talk about education, there are so many facets of education in Nigeria that you get amazed when you see people come online to share their thoughts on different subject matters, and you be like, oh, so people are disinformed. But somehow it's like the way we receive the information that we consume, we try to twist it to suit our own narrative and our personal interest. But maybe the root causes you have to highlight might be different from the lack of education that Mr. Lawrence submitted earlier.
It's actually definitely one of it. And you had already mentioned something pertaining that how you receive and twist. And I'll definitely mention that. But I also want to answer your questions directly because you mentioned in the 1980, in the 1990, were there no issues? Were there religious? You could tell that there were problems. There were banditry problems. There were armed robberies. There were all of that. But what happened then was how we received it. We saw all of ourselves as Nigerians, as one community, as a society. We weren't divided. Everybody saw himself as brothers and sisters. And so we saw the common enemy as a common enemy. So we didn't need to determine the religion or the ethnicity of that enemy.
Right.
He was our enemy, all in total. But I would ask you, what changed? What changed for me correlates with something that was very pivotal to our nation, right? 1999 came democracy, right? And democracy is a game of numbers, whether we like it or not. Agendas began to fly everywhere.
Right.
People began to see the need to have the initial patterns of democracy, because nobody really understood and saw it as a good thing as opposed to what would probably divide us. We accepted it, right? We wanted to make our voices heard, wanted to collectively choose who should lead. And it was pretty to see, not until the game of numbers became really ugly. People needed to divide to conquer, because if one person has the acceptance of everybody, then it means that he will win.
Yeah.
So instead of telling the truth and seeing why this person should win, we needed to get something in the way of people. And that's when people started introducing ethnicity. They started introducing religion. They started introducing regional divides so that it can favor them. When elections come, there's only one direction that these conversations go. A lot of the times, I'm so sorry, with all respect to the leaders that we have, a lot of the times conversation goes not only to what you can do. If not, maybe the last election where we started hearing track records, because this narrative had been pushed collectively. It used to be he's a Muslim, he's a Christian, he's from this clan, and basically because he's from this clan, he will favor his people, he would favor that, and that is when this religion came on and started dividing us. Secondly, now I'll still tie it to democracy and leadership. Somehow there was a rise in social injustice.
Okay.
When you get into positions, instead of doing what you ought to do as a leader,
Or what you promised.
what you promise,
to do.
what you promise to do, what you ought to do, has to do with basically being responsible for the lives and properties of the entire citizenry. Right? Except if your position is inclined to maybe a particular region. But even within the region, you could tell that our only divide isn't ethnicity. There's also religion that comes to play. So your leadership has to be wholesome. Now, when you get to position and you start basically favoring the people on your own side, that's social injustice. And it calls for something, agitation from people who are
Who think
unjust,
they are marginalized.
whether true or false. When they make their claims about being marginalized, they are addressing something that is true or untrue. And that's where another narrative came. Then thirdly is corruption. In all honesty, because when you're saddled with a responsibility, or when you are entrusted with a position at the end of the day, and you go on to siphon funds and then become socially unjust with all of these things, right? And you give to people, and you give to that, and you give to only the people close to you, and because you're already basically building a clan so that it can favor you, and everybody that is behind you are people from your side. So they take maybe basically a call of injustice, for lack of better words, a protest against you, as an attack to a religion or and in defense, you see the divide has already been caused or divided. So it's and then I come back to education, lack of education, how you receive this information. So now, the person you put into power through vote had done something wrong, And I honestly call it out because we need to be accountable. We need to call people in leadership. You see it as this person hates my person. This person is an enemy of a certain religion or an enemy of it. Instead of receiving it as, okay, he's not doing what he ought to do. That's objective criticism. It's not subjective. It doesn't matter where he's from. He's accountable to every member of, and this is everything that have somehow expanded. Mr. Lawrence, you wanted to say something?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want us to be careful, still because of time.
Yeah.
Okay. So that we don't. There are so many factors that could be considered. You could consider how these guys, in quotes, the bandits, have been moving across the Sahel and then coming down to Nigeria, maybe because they are being chased. There are so many factors that we do not have data for, and so it would. To think that we can grasp what this whole thing is about, we might be lying to ourselves. We might not be privileged to have some information. Do you understand? That is why I made the statement that the actors that are within this territory, and I chose education as a problem, because you see, if they had gone through a proper manufacturing or production line, they would have come out better than we are seeing them. That is if they are within this territory. I was careful not to talk about who has penetrated the borders, because like I said, we do not have that information. And two, I said, if we sit down here to analyze corruption, and we will be speaking like we were in 1999, because these conversations have existed. The reason I always approach my conversation from what are we doing now is because I don't want us to repeat the confusions. Do you get what I'm saying? Now that we are here, what are the responsibilities that we owe to ourselves and this country?
Okay.
What can we do in situations like this?
All right.
Is this not a time where we need to be more intentional about respecting each other, as against going online and tweeting hatred and sharing fake news? You go and pick a video of somebody falling
Something happened
in 1993,
yeah.
and you come and play it and say, they are now chasing us in Aimba, they are now chasing us in we are running, and then there's someone in their homes that is actually in Aimba, but doesn't know where in Aimba this video is coming from. So I'm saying that we owe ourselves right now, in the middle of all this, that duty to be united in mind, to share narratives that gives hope, so that we do not crush the already fragile and cracked situation that we found ourselves in. So yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I will just have to come in here, because you said something about those at the helm of affairs, or the stakeholders, and you think that a lack of education is, it has eaten deep, into the system.
Yes.
One would want to differ. Don't you think what is going on right now is deliberately orchestrated by this?
What is deliberately orchestrated?
Whatever it is that is going on here.
The lack of education, or the...
I beg to differ. I do not think it's a case of... There could be lack of education, at the grassroots. All right. But not from the top.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you are saying that education...
So I mean...
No.
One
when
would
I
say
education, hold on. What we're having right now is an educational series.
Okay.
Right? What we're trying to do, when we come here to talk about the national values,
right,
we are trying to tell Nigerians the benefits of imbibing values. And we have said it countless times that the lack of these values is part of the reason why collectively we found ourselves here. All right? So now, if you're being educated, or if you think you're being educated, education has a lot to do with the mind, correct? And so sometimes, yes, there are educated, wicked people. There are educated, wicked people. You can't take them out of society.
Okay.
It creates a balance. Everybody is not good. Not everybody is good, correct?
Right.
But I'm just saying that over time, the education, no matter what you call it, maybe the lack of even pushing these values in terms of educating them, demonstrating to the people over the years, all right, might have pushed. Some people have been ignored. When you people talk about ethnic harmony and all that, I keep telling people I meet with, my name is Jia Uleji. I'm from Basa in Kogi State. Nobody knows Basa. Nobody cares about Basa. We all are so focused and soaked with the major tribes in Nigeria That is in itself an injustice to the people of Basa. To not even be feeling. If you go now to the States and you go to my village, there is practically nothing to write home about. I'm being honest with you. But because of I have been educated to see Nigeria before my tribe is the only reason I have some lines of patriotism in me to even be here with you. Do you get what I'm saying? But if I did not have that exposure, I would be soaked with the anger of neglect. Do you get what I'm saying, Efe? So I'm saying that these issues are complex. And so I'm just showing you how education has helped my mind to be here and not come to tell you, Efe, I'm actually here on behalf of my people. Oh, we have not seen road. We don't have that's not why I'm here. We are first talking about the country.
Okay.
And so that's where I'm going with education.
All right. Sultan.
Yeah.
I love the scenario you just painted. I mean, because when you see people come out to agitate and lament that, their region is being, marginalized and all of that, then it appears that these people, maybe they might be educated, but they are just too concerned about their immediate environment and the underrepresentation they are getting.
Yes.
And I mean, how do we put Nigeria, the common good of Nigeria as a country first, before, our
Ourselves.
tribes and, where we come from?
Yeah, so
Is that even possible?
yeah, it's definitely possible.
Because if my region is well represented, if my tribe is well represented, that would definitely, transform how we see the country.
Before Sultan responds to this, I want to think that even part of the challenge is a test of my own patriotism. What I have shared with you, Sultan might be from a more privileged space. If even you yourself, you might be from a more privileged space. I'm just saying that it is a test of our patriotism that we are lacking locally, but we still come to try and defend and love our country. But people like us don't get rewarded. We don't even get celebrated. As a matter of fact, some people are enjoying, and then they found themselves in position to represent people. They think they are patriotic. They have never been tested by patriotism.
Exactly what my response was going to be. Actually, what we are doing right now is an example of what it is. We do not have as much representation up there. I'm also from Kogi State, but maybe a more privileged tribe.
So it's a Kogi thing. I think Kogi are at the center of patriotism, just like they are the center of the.
But I'm really surprised, hearing this and seeing this level of patriotism from core guys.
I mean,
Your state is so underdeveloped. I'm not going to.
Well, we're not going to discuss my state.
I say that on air all the time, for real.
So if you're saying this, right, and we are doing this, then you should understand what needs to be done, or basically everything that we all agreed on.
But
right?
is it your exposure to civilization and good information that has actually changed your perception?
Education. We are talking about
this kind of education that we're having, that you are
have.
having, and maybe if you go home without Lawrence, without Sultan, you might think about it by yourself, and you might come to your own conclusion with your conscience. And it would either trigger you to be more patriotic or to be less patriotic.
If
you
you
might
are-
be like, I hate this patriotism thing. But because look at Lawrence and Sultan, why are they so comfortable being patriotic? Maybe I could be more patriotic and maybe we could see something gets better. And I keep saying it that it's about one person. The problem is we want to change 200 million at once. It should actually be you first. You, myself, Lawrence, am I trying? Am I becoming better? And so my environment will benefit from my decision for myself. That is why I said the youth now, our age group, we need to take more responsibility for our country. And that has to translate to how we talk about our country online.
Yeah.
To ourselves, yes.
My-
We need to come to that point.
Truly. My response to you, given the question you asked, is to build Nigeria, we have to build Nigerians. It's not even about a region or this or that. You could tell that the president came from a village somewhere. And the chances are someone else from an underserved or a marginalized nation could actually be president. We've seen how Goodluck Jonathan rose to prominence. And I don't think we will call his tribe or
The
his
Niger Delta region
as one of the most represented. What if one of these days it's Lawrence that climbs to prominence? Will it be now the region and how it has been
neglected,
that wouldn't be the case. What will be the case is who we have at the helm and his ideologies, his ethics, and his values. Because if he possesses that, then you can be assured that the policies he would enact, right, his ideologies towards governance, and how he will propagate basically one of his values or some of his values, social justice, by basically making sure or ensuring that opportunities get everywhere, and all of the good things that comes with the talent and leadership, right? It's not about his region, but his personality. And that's the same thing for each and every one of us Nigerians. We would build Nigeria when we build ourselves.
Okay. Well, to wrap up the conversation now, because time has never been our friend, let's take it from the perspective of our clergymen, our religious leaders, the many religious groups that we have in Nigeria. Because, I mean, we've seen press statements, issued. We've seen counter, press statements as well. So let's not make it look like a religious war, even though it's beginning to look like it. But in a bid to change the narrative, what do you think is expected of our religious leaders, especially at this time?
It will be what I would say if I had their opportunity and their microphone, is to give the people hope at a time like this, and then hold the government more accountable for ensuring that there is peace and stability in the country. How do I mean? The primary responsibility of government is security, primary. Do you understand? One of the primary responsibilities is security. It is not a primary responsibility of a preacher or an imam to secure its people. Are you with me?
Right.
So the most important thing is, there's fire, right? Let's not go create more fire. Okay? Who is responsible for this thing? If you can even make a match to the office of the government, it's a better approach.
Collectively.
Yes, it is a better approach than, as a matter of fact, these are the kind of times that we need to see the various religious leaders represented in one voice, addressing the people. Because if everybody say, defend yourself, do this, and some people don't even understand what defending yourself means. Do you get what I'm saying?
Right.
Still, because of the gap, right, they will go and do something, and all of us will carry camera and we'll tweet about it and we'll laugh about it, and we'll, in short, I see all manner of videos.
And then it gives the international community more nerves and guts
the
to
jobs
conclude.
will be going away, because people that are supposed to come and invest in the country are scared.
Yeah.
They are running.
Okay.
So let's not damage it any further.
All right.
Let's figure out hope and create some form of unity amongst ourselves in mind.
Do you see that happening? And I mean, a collective, walk or march by these religious leaders from, all sides of the divide to hold the government to account?
So it can happen, but it starts with one person, right, at a time. I was watching a video yesterday on X. It was about footballers, and I don't know what they call the children that they walk into the pitch with. Are they mascots? I don't know. But
I saw that video about a player taking care of a child.
Yeah, a player took off his jacket. He was the first. It was cold, it was rainy, it was snowy, and he removed his jacket out of pity, out of empathy for the kid who was in front of him. Now, before he did that, none of his teammates did that. He removed it and he gave to the kid in front of him the jacket, and the entire team did the same, just because he made that move. In all honesty, change starts with one person at a time. We need to first off put ourselves forward and create these dialogues, right? And engagement. We have to also take responsibility and ensure that everybody comes together. So we mustn't wait for, yes, it's important that it starts from top to bottom. But even we as youth know that fire cannot be extinguished with fire. To extinguish fire, you have to find something that isn't going to basically explode it. And what we are doing now is trying to explode it, right? There's no way, I've not seen anywhere where peace came with chaos. It's not chaos that brings about peace. So we have to unite ourselves at first. Let's dialogue. Let's not start pointing fingers. I'm even surprised to how we're even exploding these days. What people put out there are uncalled for. People that I'm thinking, but we could do better. So these times actually in history are very pivotal. Times like this are very, very pivotal. And my advice would be, choose wisely where you want to stand in history. You could actually be seen later on as someone who is very insightful and propagating hate, and you can actually be the hero of the story. Someone who is trying to unite,
all right,
and not divide.
Okay, from our studio, it's already 1 p.m. and I must say that with the Generation for Societal Change, you're sure of, an insightful conversation every Wednesday, all right, at this time. And whether we like it or not, the situation we are faced with, how we handle it right now, right path or not, all right, how we handle the situation right now will determine the number of broken hearts that we're going to, leave and even pass on, to the next generation unborn. Now, religious and ethnic harmony is the foundation on which Nigeria's unity must, be built. Now, the nation's diversity can be a source of great strength if properly managed. Now, by promoting tolerance, fairness, and peaceful coexistence, Nigerians can actually overcome divisions and work together for progress. A united Nigeria is very much possible when every citizen, regardless of tribe or faith, upholds the values of respect, justice, and mutual understanding. Well, we just have to leave it here for today, but thank you all so much for listening. We want to believe that you've been able to learn a thing or two, from the conversation. And Joseph from Jai, we see your message, but it actually came in a bit late, so we couldn't squeeze it in. But thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. This program would make a return same time, same station next week. Until then, I am Omoefi Osemere, saying a very big thank you to Sultan Kamal and Lawrence Huleji. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Ife.
Thank you so much, Nigerians. Thank you, Ife.
Are you ready for this?
Keep this frequency.